Hello students, today we will be studying Geography chapter 7, our country India. Now as you know, in our country India, it is officially known as the Republic of India. It is a country of South Asia. It is bordered by the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal between Myanmar and Pakistan. It is the seventh largest country in the world with an area of 3.28 million square kilometers. The distance between the northern part and the southern part of India is 3,200 kilometers, and the distance between the east to the west is 2,900 kilometers. India's location and neighbors. Now, India lies entirely in the northern and eastern hemisphere. It extends about 8 degree north to 37 degree north latitude. The Tropic of Cancer that passes through India divides India into two equally halves lies between 68 degree east and 97 degree east longitude. The longitude of 82.5 degree east, which passes through the middle of India, is taken as the standard time meridian of India. India is surrounded by the Himalayas in the north, the Indian Ocean in the south, the Arabian Sea to the west, and the Bay of Bengal to the east. The country's boundaries measure the length of 15,200 kilometers. To the north lies China, and the small nations of Nepal and Bhutan are also located along our northern borders. To the east lies Myanmar. India borders with Bangladesh mostly correspond to the delta of Ganga and the Brahmaputra rivers. To the west, Pakistan and Afghanistan are India's neighbors. The Maldives and the islands of Sri Lanka lie to the south of India, separated by the Pak Strait and the Gulf of Mannar. India has a fairly regular coastline. The Gulf of Kutch and the Gulf of Khambat are found along the coast of Gujarat. Lake Chilka is found along the eastern coast of Odisha. India occupies a strategic position on the international trade route linking the east and western countries. Now, political and administrative divisions. And for administrative purpose and considering a large number of factors like social cultures and languages, India is divided into 28 states and 9 union territories. Rajasthan is the largest state and Goa is the smallest state in terms of area. The states are further divided into districts and tehsils. Now the physical features of India. India can be divided into 6 major physical divisions. First, the northern mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Great Indian Desert, the coastal plain and the islands. The northern mountains. Towards the northern part of India stands the highest mountain in the world. The northern mountain range in India includes the Himalayan mountain range. These mountains stretch from the Indus River in the west to the Brahmaputra River in the east. The word Himalaya is derived from two words. Him means snow and Alaya means the abode, means the abode of snow. Thus together Himalaya means the abode of snow. The length of the Himalayan range is about 2,400 kilometers and the breadth is on an average is 240 kilometers. The Himalaya consists of 3 parallel ranges which are classified on the basis of their height. They are the Himadri, the Himachal and the Shivaliks. The northern mountains have many passes which are low points that allow easy access to climbers. The Himadri, also known as the Greater Himalayas or the Inner Himalayas, this range makes up the highest part of the mountains. The average elevation of the Himadri is 6,000 meters and it is permanently covered with snow. The world's highest peak, many of these over 8,000 meters, are found in the Himalaya. Mount Everest, the highest part of the Himalaya, is located here. Other peaks are the Nanga Parvat and the Kanchenjunga. Some of the important passes on the Himalaya are Baralacha, Shiplika, Niti, Lipulek, that is Uttaranchal, Nathula, Jalipla, that is Sikkim, and Burzil, that is Kashmir. The Himachal is known as the middle of the lesser Himalayas. It comprises a larger number of ranges running in different directions. These ranges lie to the south of the Himadri and have an elevation of about 4,500 meters. Most of the well-known hill stations in India are located on the southern slopes of the Himachal. Means most of the well-known hill stations are located on the Himachal. The notable range of the Himalayas are the Dauladhar, the Pir Panjal and the Naga Tibba and the Mahabharata located in Nepal. Now the Shivaliks. The Shivalik mountain, also known as the Outer Himalayas, lie to the north of the Indo-Ganga-Brahmaputra plain. This range starts at an elevation of 1200 meters and extends southeast from Jammu hills of Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. The Shivaliks break in a stretch between the eastern boundaries of Nepal and the Torsa river in Bhutan, but rise gradually northward from North Indian plain to a height of about 620 meters. There are flat valleys in between the Himachal and Shivalik range. These have been called duns, for example Dehradun, Patli Dun and Kotri Dun. The Purvanchal range lies along the eastern boundaries of India. These mountains cover the state of Assam, Manipur, Tripura, Nagaland, Meghalaya and Mizoram. Now the importance of the Himalayas. The Himalayas are very important and have a great influence on the land and the people of India. The Himalayas act as a physical barrier for the rest of Asia, helping to secure the country against invasions. The Himalayas also act as a climatic barrier. The mountains trap the monsoon winds within the country and keep away the cold winds blowing from North Asia. The Himalayas, with its many glaciers, are the main source of water to most of the perennial rivers. Now the northern plains. To the south of the Himalayas lie the northern plains. They extend approximately 2,500 kilometers in length from east to west. Two river basins, the Indus Basin and the Ganga-Brahmaputra Basin, form the northern plain. The plains are flat and made up of fertile alluvial soil laid down by the rivers. Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra are the tributaries. Due to these factors, the northern plains of India are densely populated. The northern plains can be further divided into the Indus Valley Plains and the Ganga-Brahmaputra Plain. Now the Indus Valley Plains. These area is drained by the river Indus and its tributaries like Chenab, Jhelum, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. A major part of the plain lies in Pakistan now. The fertile area was the cradle for one of the earliest civilizations, thus the Indus Valley civilization, which was established around 4000 years ago. The Ganga-Brahmaputra Basin. The Ganga-Brahmaputra Basin is drained by the river Ganga and its tributaries. Yamuna, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi, Son and Damodar, and also by the river Brahmaputra and its tributaries like Tista, Subhansiri, Barali, Dhansiri and Dihing. Most of these rivers emerge from the snow-covered Himalayas. Now the Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau lies to the south of the northern plain. This plateau is the oldest part of the Indian subcontinent. It is made up of halved rocks which are rich in mineral resources. It is divided by the Narmada River into two parts, the Malwa Plateau and the Deccan Plateau. The important rivers of this region are the river Narmada, Tapi, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Except for the Narmada and the Tapi, the other rivers flow towards the east. The rivers Narmada and Tapi flow towards the west. The Malwa Plateau. The Malwa Plateau is bounded by the Vindhyas in the south, the Aravalis on the west and the Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east. It is drained by the rivers Betwa, Son, Chambal, Sindh and Damodar. These rivers are not perennial. The Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau lies to the south of the river Narmada. It is triangular in shape. It is bordered by the Satpuras in the north, the Western Ghats in the west and the Eastern Ghats in the east. The Western Ghats are continuously hills rising steeply from the coastal plains along the western coast of India. Also known as the Sahyadri, these hills cause heavy rainfall in the western coastal plains as they intercept the southwest monsoon winds from the Arabian Sea. Mount Anaimudi is the highest peak of the Western Ghats. The Eastern Ghats are low hills along the eastern edge of the Deccan Plateau. They are not continuous as rivers cut through them to drain the region. The Eastern Ghats do not cause much rain. Both the Western and the Eastern Ghats meet at the Nilgiri Hills in Tamil Nadu. Now the Great Indian Desert. The Great Indian Desert lies to the west of the Aravalli Range. It occupies a major part of the state of Rajasthan and extends into Sindh. Pakistan has the Thar Desert The land is generally flat and covered with sandy soil. It is a dry region with hardly any rivers. The rivers that are present in the region do not have enough water to reach the sea. They dry up or disappear into the sand. The river Luni is the only large river in the region. The coastal plains. Now the Deccan Plateau has two narrow slips of coastal plains along the Bay of Bengal, that is the eastern coastal plain, and the Arabian Sea, and that is the western coastal plain. The eastern coastal plains lie along the Bay of Bengal. It is known as the Northern Circular to the north and of the river Godavari and the Coromandel coast to the south. This comprises the fertile deltas of the river Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. The eastern coastal plains are bordered and are more level than the western coastal plains. The coastline is regular. The western coastal plains lie along the Arabian Sea. It is known as the Konkan coast in Maharashtra, the Kannada coast in Karnataka, and the Malabar coast in Kerala. The western coastal plains is narrow and uneven with a broken coastline. Now islands. Two groups of islands are formed a part of India. The Andaman and the Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands are a group of more than 300 islands located in the Bay of Bengal. Most of the islands are volcanic in nature. India's only active volcano erupted in Barren Islands in the Andamans. The Lakshadweep Islands are a group of 36 coral islands in the Arabian Sea. These islands are located 300 kilometers to the west of coast of Kerala. Lakshadweep means 100,000 islands. India is called a subcontinent as it is a vast and more or less self-contained subdivision of a continent. This is the end of the chapter. Next we will start with the next chapter.